They say that Toyota Tacoma is practically indestructible, that if you buy one, you'll never need another truck in your life. But what if I told you that reputation has cracks? That behind its legend, there are real transmission problems, disappointing finishes, and prices that sometimes just don't make sense. In this video, I'm not going to repeat what everyone else says. I'm going to tell you what nobody else says about the Tacoma, the good, the bad, and what could make you regret it if you don't know before you buy. Because yes, the Tacoma can be a great purchase or a very costly decision. Stick around until the end, because this information could save you thousands of dollars or years of frustration. Have you noticed how some vehicles seem to have a kind of invincible aura? As if they were immune to the passage of time, to mechanical problems, even to rough treatment. That's how a lot of people see the Toyota Tacoma, not just as a simple pickup, but as a kind of civilian tank with a license to last forever. It all started back in the 90s. At that time, while many brands were still trying to find the balance between durability and comfort, Toyota went all in on one thing: extreme toughness. And they pulled it off. The first generations of the Tacoma became famous for crossing deserts, climbing mountains, surviving natural disasters, and just keeping on going. In fact, there's a Tacoma that was literally swept away by Hurricane Katrina and still kept running. Are people exaggerating? Maybe, but the real story definitely helped cement that legend. For years, that reputation worked like a kind of shield, as if just being a Tacoma guaranteed everything would be fine. However, starting in the second half of the 2010s, things began to change. The competition stepped up their game. Ford, Chevrolet, even Nissan started offering mid-sized trucks with more efficient engines, more comfortable interiors, and better technology. And meanwhile, Toyota seemed to keep relying on its legacy as if it were untouchable. So, is the legend of the Tacoma a lie? No, but like any legend, it has some truths and some exaggerations. Not everything about the Toyota Tacoma is criticism or hype. In fact, there are some very concrete and powerful reasons why it has managed to earn the respect even of those who aren't fans of the brand. And interestingly, many of those reasons aren't things you'll see in commercials or brochures. They're there, yes, but they're more subtle. They're those hidden gems you only discover when you actually live with a Tacoma. Let's start with the most important one, its legendary reliability. It's not just a marketing phrase, it's a fact backed by years of experience, independent reviews, and millions of miles driven. The Tacoma is literally built to last. Its engine, drivetrain, and chassis have proven themselves capable of withstanding extreme conditions, from California deserts to the wettest mountains in Latin America. But what's most interesting isn't just that it lasts, but that it holds its value. While other pickups depreciate rapidly, the Tacoma seems to play by its own rules. You can buy a new one, use it for 3 or 4 years, and resell it at a price that would make owners of other brands cry. Now let's talk about the variety of versions, a detail many people overlook. Toyota didn't design the Tacoma as a one-size-fits-all truck. They designed it as a modular system. You can choose from the most basic work version, simple and no frills, all the way up to the TRD Pro version, designed to conquer any kind of off-road terrain. And when it comes to structural toughness, the Tacoma shines as well. This isn't a truck you need to handle with kid gloves. It's built to take hits, haul heavy loads, and work hard without complaining. Another point that often gets overlooked is its four-wheel drive system, especially in the mid-range versions. Even though there are more high-tech options on the market now, the Tacoma still offers reliable, intuitive, and highly effective traction. And finally, something few people mention, the Tacoma community. Yeah, it might sound strange, but there's an entire culture built around this truck. Forums, clubs, custom accessories, routes designed just for Tacomas. Now, even legends have their cracks, and the Tacoma is no exception. No matter how tough and durable it is, there's a growing list of complaints and mechanical issues that many current owners, and even more former owners, have started to share. But what's interesting is that these warnings rarely reach those who are about to buy a Tacoma. Why is that? Because the narrative of being indestructible tends to overshadow everything else. Let's start with one of the most sensitive topics, the automatic transmission. For years, users have reported issues related to the shifting system, even in models with very low mileage. Some describe rough shifts, delays when accelerating, and even gears that don't seem to engage properly. And if that weren't enough, electrical problems have also been a headache. The infotainment system has failed in more than one generation. Microphones that don't work properly, screens that freeze, wireless chargers that stop working after a short time, and most unusually, cables that have been chewed by rodents. Another point to consider is its towing capacity. Although it's marketed as a truck ready for anything, its towing power, about 6,500 pounds on average, is surpassed, beaten by several competitors in the same category, like the Chevrolet Colorado or the Ford Ranger. And now let's talk about the mysterious vibrations. Several drivers have reported a kind of phantom shudder in the steering wheel or the floor of the vehicle at moderate speeds. Although not all models have this issue, it is a documented problem in specialized forums and technical review sites. Another detail that's not minor, the price of used Tacomas. In theory, holding its value is an advantage, but in practice it also means that a 5-year-old Tacoma can cost almost as much as a new one. And as if that weren't enough, the low seats. It might sound like a minor detail, but on a long trip, it can be the difference between arriving relaxed or with your back wrecked. In summary, yes, the Tacoma is tough, durable, and reliable, but it's not infallible. There are details you need to know before making a decision, because reputation doesn't pay for repairs. This is where the facade starts to show more visible cracks, because you can forgive certain flaws if you're buying a pickup for heavy-duty work. You can put up with a rough transmission if what you're after is strength and durability. But when you're paying over $35,000 for a truck, you expect more than just reliability. You expect comfort, smart design, and modern technology. And this is where the Tacoma falls short. Let's start with the most obvious, the interior. For many, getting into a Tacoma, even in recent models, feels like stepping into a time capsule. And what's more concerning is that this doesn't change much, even in the more expensive versions. You can pay over $45,000 for a TRD Pro and still get the same hard plastic dashboard and an infotainment system that freezes from time to time. And if we talk about technology, things get even trickier. Until recently, many Tacoma trims didn't even offer Apple CarPlay or Android Auto as standard. And let's get back to the topic of the rear seats. If you buy a Tacoma with a double cab thinking you'll comfortably carry your family or friends, get ready for some long faces. The rear seats are not only cramped, but also hard and upright. And you know what makes it even more frustrating? That Toyota knows how to do it better. They've proven it in other models like the Highlander or the RAV4, where they've managed to create interiors that are more comfortable, modern, and well-finished. But in the Tacoma, it seems like they still prioritize toughness over comfort. And in 2025, that's just not enough for many buyers anymore. When a brand like Toyota launches a new generation of its most beloved model, expectations are huge. And in the case of the 2024 to 2025 Toyota Tacoma, the promise was clear: fix the mistakes of the past and keep what made it legendary. But, as often happens, things aren't that simple. Let's start with the big news, the new turbocharged 4-cylinder engine. Yes, Toyota decided to say goodbye to the iconic V6 engine in favor of a more efficient and, in theory, more powerful engine. But at what cost? Many longtime users and fans have raised an eyebrow, because even though it looks better on paper, this engine still hasn't been tested over the long term, and, while the new turbo engine performs well in the city and on the highway, there's still not enough evidence that it can handle 300,000 kilometers without surprises. Now, let's talk about comfort in the interior. Yes, Toyota listened to some complaints and improved the driving position. The seats now offer better support, the steering wheel can be adjusted more precisely, and the driving position feels less forced. These improvements are only available in certain versions. To get the full experience with better suspension, larger screens, and a hybrid system, you have to go straight for the more expensive models, like the TRD Off-Road Premium or the Limited iForce Max, which can easily exceed $50,000. So yes, there is a more comfortable and advanced Tacoma, but it's elitist. And speaking of technology, another highlight is that there's finally a larger central screen, with good touch response and wireless compatibility with CarPlay and Android Auto. But again, this depends on the version. On the other hand, you have to give Toyota credit. They kept something that many other brands have already abandoned, the manual transmission. Yes, in the midst of the automation era, the Tacoma still offers this option in some specific versions. We've reached the key point, because after debunking myths, revealing uncomfortable truths, and reviewing the improvements and limitations of the new models, what really matters is this: is it worth buying a Toyota Tacoma in 2025? And the answer isn't a simple yes or no. Let's start with who should actually buy a Tacoma. If you value reliability above all else, the Tacoma is still one of the best bets on the market. It's also for you if you're thinking in the medium or long term. And of course, if you're an off-road enthusiast, the Tacoma, especially in its TRD versions, offers a solid, tough, and adventure-ready experience. Now then, who shouldn't buy it? If what you're after is comfort, interior design, and a smooth ride on the road, the Tacoma might disappoint you. If you need cutting-edge technology, from immersive screens to advanced driving assistance, the Tacoma falls behind. It's also not for you if you're looking to tow very heavy loads. And a special warning for those buying secondhand: used Tacomas aren't always a bargain. Many times, their price is so inflated by reputation that you end up paying almost as much as for a new one, but with accumulated wear and potential issues already lurking. So, what should you do? Ask yourself these 3 key questions before making a decision. What do I really need it for? How much do I value reliability over comfort and technology? Am I willing to pay more for the brand and reputation, even if there are more complete options for the same price? If your answers lead you back to the Tacoma, then go for it. You know what you're buying: a pickup with character, with history, and with a loyal community behind it. But if your needs are closer to comfort, technology, efficiency, or raw power, maybe it's time to look beyond the legend.